Hey guys, welcome back. Another stream. We're in the midst here of getting into the final little bits and pieces of this, um, which is something I'm happy about. I have only about a totem and a half here to get done, and then hopefully gets into tweaking my animations and getting them in. Hello, Melissa. How are you? I worked on this last week. I haven't touched it since. I did nothing over the weekend. And so I want to go and edit this a little bit and get to a point where I'm happy with it. I kind of just played around with the shape here and didn't really do much else with it, and I want to get this into ZBrush to kind of tweak a little bit what it is that I'm doing, but for the most part, it's kind of already the shape that I want, and so I just need to add a couple more edges in so that I can go and manipulate this. So I've got a little bit of a gap here in between the opening and the actual leather of the bag, and so I'm gonna try and line this up a little bit better. I don't think my edge constraints are on, and just get it to a point where it feels like it's doing what it's supposed to. So adding a couple more edges in here is going to allow me to kind of make this round. Oh, you like that, do you? Yeah, I went and shaved. I kind of hit a breaking point, and the beard's gone, man. I was on the couch watching a movie with the wife, and I tell you, man, itched like a son of a bitch. And so I just kind of snapped, and I woke up one day and called my son and said, "Hey, would Dad shave your head?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "Okay." And so I brought him into the washroom and used the clippers on his head. And I was like, "Okay, let's get rid of this beard." And so away it went, and yeah, it's nice now, I think. See, Ash, that's part of your starting over. That's part of you're starting a new life, my friend. Which is cool, man. My eye is bothering me. Come down with black. So I'm just gonna look at creating a little bit more topology here, in order to get this to kind of flow where I want it to. If I put another edge in here, yeah, that's not going to do what I want. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to double triangle here. And then I should be able to... Oh, you're still going to try and cut there, right? See, that shouldn't actually do that. Let's go to cut again. Come join the murder. That's weird. That must be something new in this version of Max that I've not before been privy to. You're not supposed to be able to use the Swift Loop on an Ngon, and so I find it a little peculiar that it does. So my goal was to try and remove this. It was a quad, but it's in the shape of a triangle, and so I was trying to get rid of it, and it seems like everything I do is just resulting in a triangle being there, so I think I'm going to say screw it and just leave it. Leave it. I'll put it back the way it was. Yeah, it's kind of what I was feeling too, Yash. The semester coming up, you know, time to get rid of it. Okay, so I think I'm pretty pleased with that. I think the only thing I'm going to change here is just some of the spacing in these edges. So I'm going to put a couple more edges in here, just as where that curve is. And I'm going to use my spacing tool here to just round this out a little bit. And we'll see how this works. So I had an interesting day today, in that my wife went to her sister's, which is across town, across several towns, going into Scarborough territory, and she took my truck, as she does, because I have air conditioning and her air conditioning is on the fritz. And so, a couple of kids and driving for a couple of hours. I don't blame her for wanting the air conditioning. And so she left me with her vehicle, which does not have the air conditioning. And today I had to step away from work, and I was going to go give some blood. The blood bank was here in town, and was one of those things that I'm the universal donor. I have typo negative blood, which is the kind of blood that anybody can receive. And so when it comes to blood donation, I'm the kind of person they want. And my son's typo negative too, so I want to set a good example for him. And we should give our blood to people. Plus, who doesn't want a good couple of pints of Topher running through their veins? And so that was what I had on the schedule for today. I'm going to turn that off. And around the time that I was supposed to give blood, I hopped in a car. And I went down to the hotel where the blood clinic was. I drove my wife's truck because there was no air conditioning in it. I got fairly hot and got to a point where I got there and I was sweating buckets. And I thought, you know what I'll do? I'm here a little bit early. I'll go in and kind of I'll get some air conditioning, cool me down a little bit. And instead, I was met at the door by one of the women running the clinic, and she said, "Oh, are you here to give blood?" And I said, "Yes, indeed, I am." And she brought me over to the station where you fill out your name and such. And they took my temperature and said, "Oh, sorry, you can't give blood. You've got a fever." I said, "Excuse me?" And she said, "Yeah." Yeah, you are, you're hotter than we allow in terms of your temperature. And we can't have you near anybody else who's giving blood. And so I sent on my way. And so I get into the parking lot and I call my wife and I'm like, yeah, they wouldn't take my blood. They said I have a fever and that I'm too hot. And my wife said, well, what's your temperature? And I told her the number that they had told me, and she's like, holy shit. She'll go home. I was like, well, that was the plan. And so I drive her truck back home, and I take my temperature several times at home and send her the numbers, and she's freaking out a little bit. And she ends up leaving her sister's because of my temperature, and she thinks that, you know, I might have been infected with the COVIDs. And so she left her sister's place, not wanting to infect them at all. Her father is going to be at her sister's place tomorrow, and he's in the risk area in terms of ages, and so there was some worry there, and rightfully so. And so they all kind of, oh my God, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? And I came home and took my temperature, and ended up that it was just the air conditioning in the truck, and that I'm actually absolutely fine, which was also not a very big surprise to me. And haven't been coughing or anything like that. But I got to tell you, that little bit of time that I was home by myself after being told that I had a fever, there was a little bit of nervousness. There was a little bit of panic, and actually a couple of times between when my wife left her sister's place and when she got home, my daughter from the truck sent me a video message and video chatted me. She's really worried that she would have to isolate from me, and she said, I'm not isolating from you, Daddy. Don't get sick because I'm not isolating from you. And so it was actually a little sweet to have my little girl that worried about me. I'm sure my son would have been just as worried if he had bothered to put his tablet down for the ride home. But yeah. And so yeah, that was my exciting day. Not alone, dear loneliness. God, remember this. Stranger things that happen. No. Yep. Yeah. Which is, it's a smart thing. It hadn't even occurred to me that, when I was getting my temperature taken, that it was probably just due to a no air conditioning vehicle on the way there. But yeah, that's how it goes. And I tell you, it's the most excitement I've had in months. Yeah, I was hearing the same thing, Melissa. Crazy stuff, man. People were, and I was told that people were going into, my sister was one telling me this, because I spent yesterday at my sister's place too. So as soon as they told me I had fever temperature, I was like, well, now I got to call my sister and be like, hey, listen, don't die. And so yeah, my sister was telling me that there are nail salons that they make the customers put their hands in cold water before they test them. Because apparently it lowers the body temperature a little bit and gives them a more accurate reading. And my wife said, well, if they tested you with the forehead thing, like just a couple of centimeters difference and, closer or further from your forehead could change the reading. And I was like, no, it wasn't the forehead laser guy. It was the under the tongue guy. Well, you can't really fuck up the under the tongue guy. And so, yeah. So I'm going to try and do something here. I don't know how this is going to work, but I figured I would give this a whirl. I'm trying to make, there's some leather reinforcements that this thing has. And I figured I would try and just puff them out in ZBrush and see if that would be convincing. The thing that I'm worried about is this, which is this, you can see this pixelation here. So what I'm going to do instead, now that I have this mask generated, is I'll actually just make this a new mesh, and I'll just make it as part of the high poly. So we'll go to subtool, I'll go to projection, not projection, extraction, and we shall extract this. Still remember. And I'll bring my number down, say 0.001. Kind of sadness. That was not enough. 0.01. That's better. So I'm going to accept that. Now this is still going to give me the same ugly warbles that were a second ago. However, because this is a separate mesh, if I go and select it, what I should be able to do is Z-remesh this. But you didn't have to me off. Making like it never happened and that we were nothing. Need your love. I got your message, Yash, by the way. I didn't reply on on Discord, but I did get it. Cool, man. Let me know what he says. I'm anxious, in the proper use of the word anxious. Because that is indeed one of the final remaining bits I've got. And so, yeah, if you can. It actually occurred to me that there is a third animation that needs doing, but I think I'll just do it myself with the rig you gave me, fella. Wanna live that way. You left me on read? What? You treat me like a stranger and I feel so rough. But you didn't have to stoop so low. So yeah, I think that's gonna look good. Again, it's just meant to be these little like leather inserts. Oh. I used to know. Now you're just somebody that I used to know. So I'm just gonna soften them up a little bit because I don't want crazy hard edges in leather. These things should be leather. So something like that. I'm gonna delete the higher. I don't actually need them to be any higher than that. And let's go back to the satchel here. I think going pretty good with that. There in me something. Okay, so let's export this satchel. Now give my part of me from you. Okay, and I'll export these out. Corners high. And then I'm going to export the satchel high as well. Ooh. Down in a hole and I don't know if I can be saved. Wow. But rain, rain. So I'm going to do some UVs here. And this includes the handle and the opening, which are not currently unwrapped. And I'm not going to do low poly versions of those corners. Those are just going to exist as a bake. And so that should give me a better end result here. Okay, fine. You're going to be like that. Be like that. Let's pull this. Living so small. Down in a hole. Okay, I just plugged my phone in, which is why that popped open. I've got Stream Deck on my phone now, and so I thought I would see how that goes. 7 objects. Okay, so I'm going to delete the bag, because I just did a new shape from the bag. Then in a hole and I don't. So satchel, this one. And I want to make sure that I didn't get like this happening, right? Any of these edges pulling away here. I'll just grab that. I have been guilty. So I'm going to bring these in. That's probably good there. And I know I did this with symmetry, but I need to break the symmetry here now. Because these go in different places. Down in a hole. Feeling so small. Okay, so this is the upper one. I'd like to fly. Yeah, she said you're out that way. Scarborough ways. The bluffs. A big chunk of the bluffs collapsed. There's some footage of kind of the aftermath of the collapse. That's freaking scary, man. Ian and I, if you guys know Ian from the streams here, who pops in on occasion, in high school, Ian and I climbed the bluffs. We went down one end and then up the stupid end. I don't know what possessed us to do that, but man, oh man, it never occurred to me that that thing could collapse like that, and that people could die. But yeah, we did that in high school. We used to go out there just to like hang out and stuff. It was a good place to go think, clear your head. We wouldn't go down to the bottom. We were always over the top looking out over the water and stuff, which was really awesome. But yeah, man, just crazy the amount of sand. If you guys don't know this about the some of the history here of the Scarborough, Toronto area, but the bluffs were originally connected to the to Toronto Island. And erosion washed it all the way to the point that you ended up with an island and the bluffs. And so it used to be this big spit that came out and kind of protected the city from waves and such. But yeah, that all got eroded over time, and you were left with this big sand cliff in Scarborough, and then the islands in Toronto. Which is, I found that absolutely fascinating when I found that out. Okay, so I'm just going through naming things here and getting to a point where, excuse me, I'm happy with my low poly. And so, pardon me. Fine day. Boodoo. No, Toronto is not an island, Melissa, but there is a island called Toronto Island, which is down on the waterfront. It's part of the city, but it's just out in the water a little bit. I'll show you on a map here. So this is Toronto. This big hunk of land here. So essentially from here all the way over to like there's Mississauga, Etobicoke. So all in here kind of is Toronto. But if you zoom in, this chunk of land here, Center Island, this is all part of what they call Toronto Island. And the bluffs are over here. And this used to be all connected. It used to be one big chunk of sand that came out here. You can see the Toronto Islands. And so this used to be this little piece of brown that you see here. This used to actually come out all the way through here and go all the way back again. It was like a big spit that came out. And an erosion has just washed it away to the point that now the bluffs are just this chunk of sand here. And if you've never seen it, it's absolutely beautiful when you see the bluffs. I'll see if I can find... Let's try this guy. Moik. That is the beaches. That is not far enough back. Let's go back. Where am I here? Zoom in. Yeah, that was the beaches. Fallingbrook, Scarborough, Cathedral Bluffs. There they are there. So if I grab this guy, I'll put them, let's put them here. So the bluffs are this giant sandy area here. And if you look over here, you can see that it's just a big cliff, all made out of sand. And what collapsed was this, like, one of these big chunks. They said it sounded like an explosion, and all of this sand kind of fell and washed down. So originally, that's where the land was up there, and all of the beach sand that's here, that used to be up there. It kind of all fell down and went down this way. And so, yeah, there was another big, and you can see this, like, it goes all the way along. And it's absolutely gorgeous there. And anyway, there's a park up atop one of these little areas here that you can drive through. And when you drive there, Scarborough, East Point, no, Rotary Park, yeah, no, this way. That's Ajax, that's too far. Bluffers Beach Park. Trying to find the street that we used to park on. One of these guys. I think it was this one. But anyway, if you go, oh yeah, if you go here, there's a park. That was the wrong end. Yeah, this is not the street. It's all the way over here. There you go. I can go down here. But anyway, there's a park that you can go to that right there. That you can actually walk out and you can be like at the top of the bluffs. Where you can actually just stand out and look across the water, which is just absolutely beautiful out there. Went off in my hand, it's shocking out across the land. He was... Okay, so let's see what I can do with some UVs here. So I already kind of did UVs on this thing, though I have symmetried it a couple of times. It's not good. But this stuff, we're just gonna do a very quick symmetry on, or projection on. And then we can go and actually start working on some UVs here. So I'm gonna put a, turn that off, a break here. What had I done? God damn it. So what I had done. I hung my head. Okay, so let's do this. That'll be fine. Turn that off. Sure, do that. And we'll do a relax. High up in his chair. Whoop. Let's undo that. This one gets mirrored. Okay, fine. Do it that way. I orphaned his children. I widowed his wife. I hung my head. I hung my head. So this is not doing what I wanted to here. See if I can't. There we go. Whoop. There we go. Okay. When time to kill, I'll do the way up on the hill. So typically, if I made a handle like this on something that you would actually be grabbing and moving, I would put my seam on the underside of it because it would be less likely to be seen there. But since this is a static prop, the underside is actually down here. And so that's where I'm going to put my seam. I hung my head, I hung my head, hung my head, hung my head. So I'm going to do that. And then the other seams that I want to do, I'm going to split these little openings up here. And then we'll just, I don't know, grab this guy. Nope, that should have been. Still got Maya on the brain a little bit here. Oh, that wasn't all the edges I wanted. I thought it was, but it isn't. So we got Minecraft Java Edition running on the computers here in the home over the weekend, and my kids experienced what is tantamount to their first LAN party, and they were playing with each other and doing all kinds of things that they could have been doing for frickin' years on the PlayStation. But the fact that one of them was seated upstairs and one of them was down here, they thought it was the coolest thing in the world. They brought their tablets and they were video chatting on their tablets so they could see each other. So it was actually even more like sitting on a couch with each other. And I kept saying, but guys, you realize that there's a giant TV that you could sit at. And they're like, yeah, but Dad, we have to share the screen. I said, yes, the screen is split in half. But that half of the TV is bigger than the monitor using on the computer. And so it was kind of funny. He hasn't modded anything yet. We did sit around and play a little bit together with the system. And the only reason he hasn't modded anything yet is what he ended up being very interested in was the skin generator, which I found absolutely hilarious because he was just texture painting. In fact, what he was doing is so incredibly similar to Substance Painter that I kept wanting to show him Substance Painter, but it wasn't Minecraft, so he didn't care. But he did this thing. I'll show you what it is. It's interesting. Minecraft skin editor there. I think it was this one. Yeah, it's this one. So this is what he was playing with. So you get this little Minecraft dude here, and you can go spin him around. This is 3D, so you can go and edit him. You have your two different body types here, and so we're going to use the male version. It's Alex and Steve. And you've got your pencil, your eraser, your Minecraft it, which is, I found this absolutely hilarious that they built this in here. Eyedropper and paint bucket. So, if you wanted to make a creeper, you would go and grab something in a creeper green and go paint bucket, each of the areas here on this guy. And this is just a UV fill that it's doing, UV island fill. And again, like there's areas obviously that I'm not getting, right? Like I didn't get between his legs or in his arms or whatnot. So you can hit this little button and his arm gets hidden. I can hide his torso so that I can get the top of his legs and his arm. And I can hide that arm so I can do the back there. And we can hide the torso again. Make sure I do the top of his legs. Hide his legs and bring the torso back and get the underside of that. So that should be everything. And this is, so watch this. This is like the Minecraft it. So if you take this thing and you paint on your character, it takes what is the color you have and it just varies it in value up and down. So it makes what looks like detail, which I found this absolutely hilarious. But yeah, so if you wanted to make a creeper skin, you would just kind of go about doing this. I wish you could actually make the brushes bigger in this. Because that is a pain in the ass to have to go through and do this. But anyway, once you go and do this here, I won't bother doing the whole guy. But you get the idea. It kind of just plays around with the values a little bit, so he looks kind of like a creeper. And then I can go into my pencil, and I can go and grab like a black color. And I could give him a couple of eyes. And I think the creeper mouth does this or something. I'm going to do that. And that, and I'll go give him a little highlight here. Boop and boop. There's a creeper. And so once they found this system, that was it. That was all they were interested in doing. And so we did set off early in the day trying to mod the game. But once they found this, they were like, "I'm sold. This is it, man. I'm doing this." And so yeah, all you got to do is just download this skin. You hit download here, and it'll give you a PNG. Watch this. I'll open up this PNG, and there it is. There's your texture. It's just the unwrapped. Like here's the head unwrapped, the body unwrapped, the arms unwrapped, and the legs unwrapped. And so yeah, it's an absolutely fascinating little tool. But that was it. Like once he discovered that, that was all he wanted to do. And I was like, buddy, that's not really modding Minecraft, right? And he's like, yeah, Dad, look, I've got my own character. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to argue with you. Hey, Christian. How you doing, buddy? Right on, right on. Do making you, boo boo boo. So I don't know if you guys heard or not in the epic Apple battle going on right now. Microsoft seems to have come to Epic's aid and is backing them, which I mean isn't a surprise because they've had a hate on for Apple forever, right? But it sounds like they're getting involved and starting to back Epic in this battle. Apple has since said that not only will they prevent Epic from putting anything on their store any further, but they will also, and get this, they will also not allow any games made in their engine. And so it sounds very much like Apple is drawing lines in the sand here. And I don't believe they're putting themselves on the right side of that line. And so it's kind of an interesting thing going on. So what I'm making here, Christian, is the second to last, the penultimate, if you will, totem. This is a doctor's satchel for the evil doctor. And yeah, I'm at a point where there's just this one and one more to do. And yeah, I'm getting near enough the end here that I'm getting a little excited about this. I'm gonna have this whole system here kind of done. So what started everything, Melissa, was Epic released an update for Fortnite on all mobile platforms. This includes Android, that allowed you to buy customizations for your character through the store, through the game, and Apple lost its fucking mind because if you buy an upgrade or something, an update, DLC of any kind, and you buy it through Fortnite, Apple doesn't get any money. Whereas if you buy it through the Apple Store, Apple gets 30% of what was charged. Fortnite being a free game, all the money that it earns is through these purchases. And so Apple is trying to get a cut of this game. To which Epic said, good fucking luck, we're not going to do that. And so Apple pulled the game from their store and said, well, we're not going to host this anymore. If you're not going to play nicely, you can put your game elsewhere. To which Apple said that's actually against the law when it comes to companies holding a monopoly. And so Epic has now sued Apple for business practices and creating a monopoly of sorts. Not wanting to be left out of the conversation, Google also pulled the game from the Play Store. So if you go to the Google Play Store right now and you go and look for Fortnite, you will not find it. Because they too take 30% of whatever is sold. And so they're kind of, I mean, their position is exactly Apple's position. that they, you know, I want my fucking money. It's making these companies start to sound like pimps. You know, where my money? Where my money? I want my money. Give me my money. And so Epic said a big fuck you to them. They also put together, I think it was just this weekend that it happened. They put together a rather large tournament on Fortnite that was, you know, this is the last time we're gonna get to play together because of Apple. And so they're like, let's make the best of it, and they gave away all kinds of like free skins and stuff like that just to try and stick it to the core. Epic also released what is essentially a remake of Apple's 1984 trailer, which was like an anti-PC trailer saying like don't live under Big Brother and, you know, use the computer you want to use. It was basically an anti PC computer, and they were like, you know, use Apple. Epic remade it with don't let Apple, you know, do exactly what they said they wouldn't do. Don't let Apple turn 2020 into 1984, which is also kind of a brilliant line, but they remade this trailer almost shot for shot. Hey, Ted. Long time no speak, Ted. Another one of these things over here somewhere. Ring up at the moon. Boop. Jesus Christ. Well, you felt me in, licking your silver spoon. I'll be thinking of you. Fucking nothing here. Hate when it does this. Next time round. Next time round. Okay, I gotta be careful because I put these in between these two. Oh, that's fine. That's fine. You should just be able to unwrap. What the fuck? Bo-do-do-do-do-do. Right? It feels like, well, what the fuck else could happen? Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. Ba-do-do-do. I think a good chunk of it, too, is that this is happening because it's 2020. Right? I think because of the nonsense we're experiencing this year, and that every company is so hurting for money right now that they're like everybody's at everybody's throats. And, you know, it's not at all surprising. Okay, I don't know what the fuck happened there, but only going to fix it. Oh, come on. Okay, I'm gonna stop trying to unwrap this inside of Max here, and I'm just going to do what I should have done in the first place and bring it into my so bag low, brackets low. Okay, handle low. Come on. That's not right. Next time around. Yeah, I know. It's hard to believe, but March break is almost over. It's time to step off all. The perfect time to die from your eyes. Okay. I call this the Doctor. I call this the Doctor. Cue the Doctor Who theme. We are the ones that will never be broken. We are soldiers. Okay. I want to get this thing unwrapped because I would like to get as much of this last totem done as I can. Do it, Ted. Beside you. X totems. The Doctor. The Doctor will see you now. We are the ones who will never be broken. Ted, you were in the group that did the did Injustice 2, yeah? I'm trying to remember when I had you in my class. I think that was when you were there. We stand shoulder to shoulder. Oh, you did do Overwatch. Why did I think you were in the, We stand shoulder to shoulder. Yeah, I only did Injustice the 1 year, because it was a clusterfuck. And I decided I was not going to go back to it. Just funny, because on paper, it's a brilliant idea. But, did not go well. We are soldiers. Whoa. Injustice was good, or Overwatch was good. It worked really well. I just got tired of Overwatch, as I did it too frequently after I built that little game, and I think that was one of the problems with the Overwatch character selection game. Was that it was so much better than the roulette that I kept wanting to use it, and so yeah. Eventually, I'd like to get enough of these little games going that that I can give students the option of which game to play. they're all character selection games, and so make a website where you can grab one of the games, and it'll give you a description of what the game is like or whatnot. I think that would be a really neat thing to do. You want to do superheroes? Okay, here's the superhero selection game. Open this up and play it. You want to do Overwatch? Okay, here's the Overwatch selection game. Boot this up and go play it. And just give everyone kind of the option of doing what they're most into. And the idea behind that is that, and this is, it's kind of a no-brainer, right? People always put more effort into something they're vested in. And so people that, love Overwatch, they're going to work a lot harder at making Overwatch characters than someone that's never played the game and just doesn't care about it. And so, having a multitude of games where students can kind of pick the genre they want and then boot into it, that would kind of be the bee's knees, as it were, and give me, I think, what would be the best end result in terms of having people pick stuff and people being happy with the game they're going to make. For now, I'm going to be doing this one on its own, but I would love to make another version of this that is comic book oriented. So you want to do a superhero? Okay, here's the superhero selection one. Instead of an old, basement, maybe it's something from different superhero lore all over the place, and whatever you pick up, you become that superhero. It's taking the game that's here and just reskinning it for another purpose, and doing that for just about everything. So same thing with Overwatch, right? You want to do Overwatch again? Fine. You put something from different nations into the room. So instead of picking up totems that are creature-based, the totems are now, things from different nations. And whatever thing you pick up, that's the nation you're doing. And so, there's lots of ways to be able to spin this so that it ends up being something that everybody would be into. Hanging by a thread, walk away. Just walk away. Just walk away. Yeah, the creature thing is going to be fun. Again, I don't know how long I'm going to stick with it. One of the other things, too, that kind of goes hand in hand with teaching, and that I guess not a lot of people really think about, is that the characters that get made, I have to make one too. I'm making characters in my character class, right? I got to do a demonstration of what they're doing, and so with you guys, Ted, I did the Canadian character, and I'm super thrilled with the way she turned out. It was really kind of fun to do that and kind of explore that design language that Overwatch has. That is really fun. But I got sick of that, and one of the things with Overwatch is that it was so crazy successful that everybody and their dog copied that look. And so I don't want to do that look no more. I did it. I got over it, and now I want to do something else. And so he is a part of that too. But yeah, I'm gonna have to make a creature along with these guys, and that'll be something as well, right? Having to walk them through that. I haven't decided creature-wise what I'm going to do, but it is something that, again, I've got to demo to the class what they're doing, and I got to go through and show them all the principles of the character development and all of the pipeline and everything, and so it means that I, too, must make a character. That did not work the way I wanted it to. I'm internally high. Oh, that'll work. Got me running. Keep on coming. Come on, man. I'm placing 4 things. Shouldn't take that long. That is one of the things that I find, though, Ted, and I find every student that I've talked to that is graduated or has already come through this, they everybody feels like they got the shaft compared to semesters after them. And the technology changes and the way that we do things changes. And because of that change, someone always feels like one semester got a leg up compared to them, or but that's always going to be the nature of how this industry works, right? It's the way, the nature of this industry. The technology always moves, and we got to move with it. At some point, we might have 3D scanning as part of the course. I'd hope that we'd actually gotten that already. Yeah, it's just the nature of it, Christian. And again, that's not native to you guys, right? I had a couple of really good teachers when I was in school, but for the most part, man, I feel like I was really cheated in my schooling, and that I'd have been way better off with waiting. But at the same time, that waiting, you incur a penalty with that as well, right? So you wait, and you end up being a lot older when you learn this stuff. And there's a disadvantage to being older, and it's one of those things that you're looking for the right answer and there isn't one. And that's just the nature of it. It's how it goes. I'm just trying to get myself the best out of these UVs here. And rock that bitch up and down the coast. Yeah. It is that's a really tough part of teaching this stuff too, is that you can't expect anybody to do anything. I know a couple of teachers assign stuff over the Christmas break. I ain't never going to be that guy. But I do warn all my students that, you may want to, you may want to take another run at this, because it'll greatly help, if you do. And none of them ever take me up on that. None of them ever really do another pass on the character. I think Raina might have done a ton of work over the break, but hers wasn't. I don't think it was a redo so much as she just kept working her character, which was good too, right? She was pretty far along once we ended up back into the semester. Okay, so that's what I want to break here. Yeah, well, Mike was a machine too, right? Mike was one of the best students I've ever had. Not in terms of like best artist, though he was definitely a good artist. He was one of the best students I had, in that he constantly had questions for me. He constantly emailed me, listen, I was trying to do this, I was trying to get ahead, and this happened. I just like a little clarification on what the fuck. And a lot of what he did in that regard is why he ended up where he was in terms of what he was doing. Um, and I don't think I've ever had a student like that before. That was that interested in getting ahead. And like, I don't think Mike had any interest in becoming a character artist. But he was the kind of student that you want everybody to be. You know, he did really, really well at learning. And that's you know, you're going to succeed when you do that. Which was why it was really nice to have him as a student. Radio edit. It also is one of those things too that Mike was doing so much work on his own that there was very little I was able to help him with. Right? Like he got so far ahead with things that I just became tech support. You know, where he was like, I don't understand why this was happening. And it was like, oh yeah, well it's happening because you did this. I was like, oh, that's why that did that. But in terms of like the actual pipeline and the artwork, like he had everything figured out. It just became, you know, a matter of I had more experience with the software than he did, and that was one of the things that really changed everything in terms of how he was working. But yeah, I wouldn't hate more students like him. Actually, I've got another student who reminds me a lot of Mike. Or I did have a student that reminded me a lot of Mike in terms of work ethic and stuff like that. But I had her in first year, which I don't normally teach first year. Yeah, I don't know if you knew that or not, Ted. I taught first year modeling at GB last year. There wasn't enough students to fill the fifth term and sixth term, third year. There wasn't enough third year students to give me all my sections, and so JP threw me some intro to modeling stuff. Which I mean, I've taught that a ton in the past, but I never at GB. Well, not in 9 years at GB. And so it was kind of funny to go back into the damn waters. No, Christian, he is not the weapon guy. Mike is. That's the wrong Mike. You're thinking of Braybrook here. No, the Mike we're talking about. Actually, he's never been on. At least not that I'm aware of. Hasn't been on my threads here. He doesn't watch the live streams. He's not on the Discord. He was just a really talented student. And so yeah, different guy. The Braybrook the Mike that's here is Mike Braybrook. He was at RCC, and he's actually similar. He was one of the guys that even when he wasn't in my class, he would constantly be coming to me with stuff that was ahead of where he was learning, which is why Braybrook is as good as he is too, right? He was definitely that kind of student as well. He'd come to me while I was teaching intro to modeling. He'd come to me with an Unreal map that he made, and he was like, I don't know why this is happening or why this is happening. And so yeah. Yeah. I don't think there's been many. Trying to think. I think I did Overwatch 2 years in a row. And that's why I'm having trouble placing you in which grade you were in. Because you weren't there last year, right? You were there the year before. We did Overwatch, but on Queen Street. King Street? King Street. Not last year. Yeah, no, Mike's really good guy, Christian. So not last year, not the year before, but the year before. You were 3 years ago. I think you were in the second to last time I was at King. I think I had you and King. So you weren't with, no, because you'd have been friends with them. Christian and Jacob and Sarah and Kim. Yeah, Reese, we were talking about, I was just trying to remember when Ted was in my class. I absolutely remember Ted. I have fond memories of Ted. I just couldn't remember when the hell I taught him. A lot of my teaching years blend into one another, and I forget. Oh, you were with them. Okay. But you were never in their class, right? You were in the other section? I feel like you would have been friends with them. I do behind Madonna. A triple fire alarm. And back to the farm. I'm really unhappy with these UVs. Kim just got hired, eh? I set her up with a gig. Oh, that's right. You were, yeah. Now I remember. Latest thrill. I don't need to deceive you, but I feel no pain. So, Mar, what's up, brother? I'm really unhappy with these UVs. And I'm debating what to do with them. I can put a hat on. But yes, I did shave off like 30 pounds of hair. What am I going to do with this? I mean, everything's the right size. Just don't like it. I think it all stems from the bag. I don't need to deceive you. Feel no pain. Fuck it. I'm gonna leave it like this. I don't want to fiddle with it too long, neither. Okay, so let's get this guy the hell out of here. Export selection, and now we can just worry about the high pi. The high poly. Projects. Cabinets Woods. FBX. Totem Meshes, and this is the Doctor. Okay. But yeah, Ted, I ended up teaching a year 1 intro to modeling course. It was the first time in 9 years that I taught it at George Brown. And textures. And one of my first year students, I love this. I can teach anybody to model. An intro to modeling in first year. Like I end up, it's not so much teaching how to model that I do in first year, but I teach a lot of the, like, why things are done. You know, why we avoid end-gons, and why we try to make sure that edges go a certain direction, why there's no waste of topology. It's a lot of that stuff that I teach in first year. It's not the process of like, this is what an extrusion is. because anybody can figure that shit out on their own. But the more technical side of why things are done with 3D models, that's why I go that direction. And actually, my smoothing groups look just fine here. Okay. Ooh, it is ginormous. That's okay. I'm gonna have to remember that. Export selected. And we'll just put it back here. And okay. And so anyway, I had one of my first year students end up working on the postgrad project. This was a student that was less than 3 months into learning how to model, and was creating stuff nice enough that she ended up getting pulled into the postgrad thing. Better yet, she wasn't the strongest student I had in first year. And so yeah, that was kind of a funny thing to experience, and I'm anxious to see what happens with those students in terms of choosing animation versus modeling once they get to third year, to see how having me in first year changed what kind of a student they are. Because there were three or four of us teaching intro to modeling. And so to see my students and then see what the other students were like, it'll be interesting to see how that shakes up. And so I'm anxious for that. But yeah, I had a couple of really like fucking brilliant students that just absorbed everything and were right on the ball. And so yeah. Animators. I love that there's art and animation. Like, an animator's not a fucking artist. Get a real job. That always reminds me of a thing. So back when Nirvana was touring, there's a story that Dave Grohl has about them going through the customs of some country when they were going in, and Kurt Cobain gets to the customs thing, and they look at his visa, and his visa says musician, and they're like, all right, come on in. And Chris Novoselic gets there, and they look at his visa, and his visa says musician. They're like, all right, come on in. And then David Grohl gets there, and they look at his visa, and his visa says drummer. And they're like, yeah, get in the fucking room, buddy. Snap. I just love that story. I love that. I love that a drummer wasn't considered a musician. It's hilarious, especially knowing some of the drummers that I've known. You know what? I really do want to learn animation. There's a giant hole in my, pardon the pun, but in my game, that is animation. I teach, or did, up until the new curriculum at Sheridan, I taught rigging and modeling in Maya. But really, it was very basic stuff taught to people who are going to be designers and not to artists. I'm not capable of teaching someone who's going to be an artist how to model or how to rig. But yeah, it's just one of those things that I've always had that gap in my knowledge. At one point in time, I'm not sure how many of you guys know this, but at one point in time, I actually had George Brown, and at the time RCC, both schools were going to pay for me to take a course in rigging and animation that was being taught by Judd Samantov, who was the technical director at Naughty Dog when they were working on the first Uncharted, or not the first Uncharted, the first Last of Us. And man, that would have been fantastic to take that, and I would have been ever so grateful to take that. But it never happened, and the reason for that was that I ended up with my surgery on my spine, and I didn't take any courses when that happened. We can't talk about that, Reese. No, it's actually now a defunct school. But it was something that Judd Smentov and oh god, what was his name? There's a character artist from Naughty Dog who was doing it too. I don't remember his name now. That's gonna bother me. But anyway, it was these two gentlemen who were essentially the guys who were in charge of what happened with the characters in Naughty Dog, and yeah, it would have been something fantastic to learn from them. But with my spine getting blown out and requiring surgery, never happened, and I always felt kind of bad about that. But my goal with that was to get my animation game up to where my modeling game is, and it would have been lovely if I was able to. Oh, that's not going to work. It would have been lovely if I was able to. That is the open one, isn't it? Son of a bitch. Okay, I need to go down to my lowest. Oh, fuck that. Okay, let's go back here and undo. I may have a problem. And the problem is that this thing is too wide open here. Because I think I've made edits to the low poly. Let's bring that in. So yeah, I would have loved to have I would have loved to have gotten my the rigging side of my skill set up to the point that I could rig my own characters as well as I can model them. But in the end, not taking that course ended up having me push a little harder on characters, and I think that paid off in that I'm happier now with my character art than I was before. And so, there's always a chunk of that as well. Okay, so what I need here is to select all this, and delete this. I don't know why there's animation on all of this. Must be in Maya. And now I'm going to export this. And I'm going to put this in the OBJ over Satchel OBJ. So I just need to reconfigure my my lowest subdivision level. I've made changes here so that the Satchel is actually closed against the hinge, but that didn't get updated here in ZBrush. So I'm just going to re-import that guy. And that should perpetuate through all of the subdivision levels. And now I can export this again as Satchel High. How much rigging have you done, Reese? I wasn't aware that you did rigging. I see. I enjoy the technical side of it. I enjoy the technical aspect of it. And all the logic that goes along with it. I'm a very logical person. My brain works in that way. It's why I love the scripting with blueprints and stuff like that. So that's exactly what I was thinking. In you saying that you did it, I was like, oh, and get somebody to fucking rig my shit. I don't know why that turned out French. I don't know what happened there. Satchel High. Yeah, the two kind of go hand in hand. You know what? When I first got into the industry, when I was at a studio way back when, every character that I modeled, I ended up having to rig. It was the two things were kind of fit together. But back then, rigging was so rudimentary that it's nowhere near what it is today. And that made it something that was actually easy to do. And so yeah, there's that. Okay, satchel high. This is brackets high. God damn it. But you're not gonna win this time. And you know what? I still actually have no problem doing mechanical rigging. Where I don't need something to look or behave human. You know, like my mask vehicles, I'm gonna rig those. I have no problem doing that. Yeah, I have no problem doing that. Brackets, mounts high. D-rings high. Come on. Come on now. Handle high. I think that's everything. Yeah. Okay, let's export this as high. Export selected. And I think to get through... I'm gonna start painting this, and then that's it, man. I'm on to my last totem. Which, Ted, if you're still hanging out, man, I'm about to spend me some hours in the Marvelous. Because the last totem is going to be... Actually, the last totem is going to be mostly in Marvelous. And so, yeah. So let's see if this works. My naming's all correct. I can check it in Maya. That's what I can do. I called it Baglow. Okay, so I know there's actually a naming error here. I called this Satchel here, but it's actually Bag. And that means these have to be Bag. Like that. Now I can re-export this. It just occurred to me that I had made that error. And so, catch it while I catch it. Oh, yeah? Very cool. The, this is going to be some, non-standard use of Marvelous Designer. The last totem is the last totem for a reason. I've been avoiding doing it like the frickin' plague. And I was hoping that at some point, excuse me, I was hoping that at some point I would come up with a better totem or creature that I would sub out for that, and I wouldn't have to do it. But in the end, oh yeah, I was gonna edit these. Fuck it, they are what they are now. But in the end, I couldn't get away from what I had planned, and it's still the best option I have, and so I'm heading down that path, and I have to make something I don't want to make. I'm not happy about making, but it's gonna get made, and so I'm gonna be spending me some time inside of the Marvelous. I can show you some tricks for sure. It's balanced, Ted, right? You know, you gotta get good at all the packages. I actually got a beta of a new animation package that I want to play with. It implements physics into your animation. So if you, for instance, if you take a rig, grab it by the center of mass, and he's just in a T pose or an A pose or something, and you start dragging him towards the ground. When he hits the ground, his arm will start crumpling as it hits the ground, and eventually it'll like start shoving his shoulder, and it'll manipulate his spine and everything. Which is really like that's friggin' cool that it can do that. Okay, so It appears as though the handle has not baked, but everything else has. And I'm pleased with everything else. So let's go see why the handle did not bake. So the name of the handle here is handle underscore high. And in the low poly, the handle is called handle underscore low. Put a tarp on a Jeep in Marvelous. Yeah, that's... I would probably do it that way. So why didn't this work? Handle high. And the name here is handle low. HANDLE underscore. Oh, that's because he's got a capital L. One little thing like that. Export selection. And the doctor. The doctor will see you now. Edit. Project configuration. The doctor. And then we shall just bake again using previously used settings. And this should, without issue, so the biggest thing to remember with Marvelous Designer when you're using it is that you need to cut your fabric out like you were using it for real, right? So if you want to put a tarp on a Jeep, you got to think of what the piece of fabric would look like that you would actually cut in order to lay it onto the frame of a Jeep to cut it. You need to know those shapes, otherwise you're going to screw it up and it won't look right. You know, there's something to be said about actually knowing a little bit about tailoring going in, which is Ted why I said that, you know, you would be so good at it. Blew my mind when I went to GDC and spoke to a bunch of character artists, and it turned out I knew more about the program than they did. You're fucking welcome. I have been pushing that program. Originally pushing it because obviously it was going to become industry standard, and I was pushing it before it was. I was begging the schools to get the software. And in the end, when they were like, well, nobody's using it yet, I'm like, no, but it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I ended up just making students pirate it. I was like, fucking go pirate this software because we're gonna use it. And it is. It's brilliant for what it does. And so, you know, it's one of those things that is absolutely best for doing that kind of stuff. I love it for that. So I was going to use the stylized leather on this because of all the leathers that are in here, it's actually the one that I like the best. But I don't think I'm going to, because it doesn't look right on the bag. I actually have my own leather. There's a leather I've got called Topher's leather that I made in Substance Designer, but it was made for biker jackets. I made it back when I was working on Sons of Anarchy, and it was really, really cool. But it doesn't seem to fit much else. See, all of this looks too smooth. Ooh. Leathered. Yeah, see, it looks very substance paintery. Leatherette? Damaged leatherette. Oh, okay. Wait. Hold on. We're on to something here. Oh, man, that just looks like cells. Yeah. Man, that was one of my favorite projects, dude. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to make this work. You could feel my pain. You can feel my pain. Driving me insane. What is going on here? Damage. Fill. Gradient. There we go. Don't go. Yeah, the problem is that it's not, it doesn't read the way that I want it to read. Okay. So I think the best one here's the problem with having the handle to the side is that it casts an ambient occlusion shadow on the bag, which is now affecting where the damage goes. And it should not, right? That's not at all where that should go. It's suede. We promised only pain. But I think this is the route I'm going to go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a, I'm going to try and put like a cross-hatched fabric underneath. Because I think that is going to look the best. Let me see where these fabrics are here. Let's try this. Okay, this might work. I'm going to have to get rid of the crease because I don't want the creasing. I don't want the wear. Fabric pattern, fabric pattern. There's some damage that tears. There we go. So we can delete this layer, delete that one, and delete that one. Okay, and then we're going to... That's just color. There's the weave. Try planar. And let's bring the scale down. 15. Let's go up a little bit. Okay, so I got to change the way the height map is being applied. So we're going to go to height and normal, normal, linear dodge, normal, linear dodge, normal, 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 normal. Okay. It's not bad. I would like it. Yeah. That's the one I don't want. Okay, that's doing nothing now. Messy fibers. Messy fibers. Weave. Okay, so these guys should be triplanar. There we go. And then what I would like to do with this is have it also include some height. Not too much. Like so. So the idea here is that this is what the underside of the leather looks like. So if I bring the leather back over top and I add a black mask to the leather, and then on the black mask we add a generator, And on the generator, I'm going to add some metal edge wear, which needs to be inverted. So what this should do is give me what looks like bits and pieces of the leather worn off and scraped off. And then the kind of fabric-y little detail that's underneath. Now you can see that what we're getting is the leather is recessed and the fabric is pushed up, which is actually the opposite of what we want. So I'm going to redo this again here, kill that. We're going to add a white mask. And then we're going to add a generator to the white mask. And then we'll put the metal edge wear on. And then I'll invert it. And now... Oh no, you're still raised. Okay, so... let's go to... the fabric again. The weave. And we'll bring the height down. This one. Bring the height down. Okay. Okay, so that should look a little bit better. And now, let's go back into our masks. And let's turn the grunge mount up. Turn the grunge scale. Use custom grunge to true. Custom grunge. Go find me something grunge-like. High contrasty, methinks. Okay, that's a little bit better. It's oversized. Maybe something like that. Now, let's bring down the grunge amount a little bit. Where's my grunge? Where contrast? Yeah, I don't want it too low. So unsure as I take your hand and lead you to the dance floor. Okay. Never gonna dance again. Let me see. I think there's a fabric edge in here. I'm going to try and replace this metal edge with this fabric. And see if it gives me something a little bit better. Oh. Time will never end. I don't like it. Let's try the fabric edges. In the heart of mine. Okay, I like that better. Okay, so I'm going to add a folder here. I'm going to put these two things in the folder. And the folder is leather. And now we can start working on some of the metal components. So I think for the metal, I'm going to do painted metal. Because I think that is how this would look to me. Let's bring this down here. Let's add a black mask to this guy and go and do some selecting. There we go. Now we can go into the steel. So the steel is going to actually be painted black. And then, that's the wrong one. I actually want to damage this quite a bit. So let's go put some steel underneath this. I don't want the platinum. Actually, you know what I might try? Where's my smart materials? I'm going to try my dirty brass on here. See, I like the dirty brass. I just need to make the dirty brass work with the leather. Actually, no, let's do this. Let's go to my dirty brass, put this up here, and hide it for the moment. Let's go to the dirty brass. Let's set this to base color, main color, and I'm just going to pull the saturation down. Main color 2, pull the saturation down. And main color 3, pull the saturation down. Whoa, whoa. Okay. There we go. More or less tin at that point. We're going to delete that, and I'm going to put some paint on top of it. Let's go high gloss paint. And the high gloss paint should going to be black-ish. And then in terms of the roughness, we go find some grunge. And I go find... Come on, you. Nope. Don't want cracks in my grunge. That's rust. Dirty splashes. It depends what they are, Harsh. I have some that I've made in here, and I have some that I've made in there. It really depends on what the smart material is. So to give you an example, if I go into the smart materials here, any of the ones that you see that are already preloaded here are ones that I've made in here. So, for instance, I've got a couple called Toph's stuff down here. This one, Toph's t-shirt. I've got a couple other here, dirty white plastic and stuff that I've made. And what these things are is they're actually just a series of layers that I've already set up in a way that I really like the way that it works. So, like my dirty brass is something that I made actually just on this project. It was something that I knew I was going to want a few things to be made out of brass. And so I made a material that I'd be able to reuse on those assets. But there's other materials, other smart materials that I know I'm going to need them like when I start working on a model. And I start off in Designer kind of tailoring the material for use in here. I also have a varied amount of smart materials that I don't ever use in Painter. Those smart materials get loaded directly into Unreal and get used as a detail layer. And so you don't actually ever see them on the model, which gives me kind of a really good kind of faked high quality texture without it being really high res, if that makes any sense. And so yeah, it's all really based on the use that I'm going to get, right? And so sometimes I need like this one thing out of it, and sometimes I need this other thing out of it, and so I kind of just I let the material kind of dictate it at that point. Okay, so the paint is there. We're going to add a white mask to the paint, add a generator to the white mask, add a edge damage to that, which is backwards. And so I just kind of want to show my metal through a little bit. That's probably fine. Let's go back to the leather selection. Add that guy to the mix. Okay, so that's not too bad. The only other thing that I want to do here is to add some stitches. I'm going to add a new paint layer. I'm going to turn on symmetry, and we are going to hope that this sucker... there's the symmetry line. Let's go to symmetry settings. So unlike other software, I'm not able to put more than one symmetry on at once. Kind of sucks, but it is what it is. I do have, I love that about some other software that I can, ZBrush does this, right? You can mirror X and Y, so painting on one corner will actually do all four corners. That's brilliant. I wish more software did that. No, I'm not going to bother with this because it's a prop. And while I could do it in Unreal, and I'm doing it in Unreal for the clothing and stuff like that, there's no point on an asset of this size, and so I'm just not going to bother. I'll make the stitching kind of gray. We're going to bring the height up. Metallic is down. Roughness is down. So that's a start. Where's my roughness? I'll bring that up. Bring that up. Let's bring the height down a little bit more. Okay, now we're getting there. Let's go back into the brush. Find the spacing. A little bit better. Okay. So now those guys are working well together. I want to kind of do this nice and slow like. There we go. So I'll do the same thing on the other side here. Oop. Okay, so now we got stitches on the bag. I'm going to try and put some on this guy here as well. Okay. Turn the symmetry off. Let's go plate some dirt on this and call it a day. So dirt will start as plastic blue and shiny. First we'll kill the blue. Then we'll kill the shiny. We'll add a black mask. Add a generator. Add a dirt. Which is really crazy. We're going to add some grunge. Bring the level down a little bit. Okay, that's not bad. I'm going to go and do another dirt. I'm going to make this one a brown as well. Bring the roughness up. That went really dark. There we go. That's good there. I'm going to add a black mask again. This time I'm going to use the ground dirt. I'm going to go into my ambient occlusion here and just reduce the amount of AO. Okay. It's a little bit better. I'm just going to throw some dust on this to make it look old. And I might go in and add a little bit of gloss to the leather. I'm getting a little bit of a separation problem between the damaged and undamaged leather. Yeah, so let's do some dust. So again, we'll start with a blue shiny. Make it not so blue, not so shiny. Yeah, it's a little... There we go. Add a black mask. And the smart masks, we'll go grab one of the dusts. Here's dust soft 2. Yeah, I'm not crazy about that one. Surface dust. Not crazy about that one either. Let's put the moss in. That's more what I want dust to do. So let's go into here. Let's see, what do we got here? Spots, get rid of that. Now we're getting a top layer only here. Gradient. Somewhere in there. I'm going to contrast down. Something like that. Why did invert make it do the same thing? Peculiar. Okay, that's not bad. So I'm going to go to color now, and we're just going to bring the opacity down. Yeah, I'm digging it. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit of shine to my leather, which will go into the actual leather. Leather texture, base. We'll take the roughness. There we go, just so it captures the light a little bit better. Done. Export textures. So, Harsh, you were asking about smart materials and when I would create them where. That was a really good example. Those 3 layers that I made, the dirt, the ground dirt, and the dust. Those 3 things, I've been using those on almost every single asset that I make. So that's probably something I should put into a smart material so that every time I make another asset, I can just drag it on and it'll instantly get dirty in exactly the same way. That is when I would make something in Substance Painter, when I want to do it that way. Okay, so this needs a new folder called Doctor. We'll go into the Doctor folder and select it. We'll go to Unreal 4 and export. I'm going to go back to Max and delete this guy. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to import the FBX real quick. The reason for that is it's the wrong size, but now that I've done my baking and texturing, I'm less concerned about it. So I'm just going to import this, scale it to the size I want it to be. Maybe something like that. I also need to, based off how I've been setting my totems up, the pivot point needs to be in the center of the object so that when you interact with it, that's where it tumbles from. So I'm going to put it in the middle of the world like that. Export selected. And again, I'm just going to throw this over the same old file. I'm not in my project anymore. Looking for the FBX folder. Totem meshes. And pop this back on FBX and get the Doctor. And yeah, that's fine. Okay. I'm going to go to my D drive. I'm going to go to Unreal Projects, Cabin in the Woods, and let's boot up the project. I've been booting up the projects, everything that I've been working on, directly from within their project folder for the last little while because I've been getting an Unreal crash that I haven't been able to figure out where it's coming from yet. And so I've been very careful about what I'm doing. I'm gonna be right back in a second. I need more water. So give me a sec, guys. I'm gonna let this open up, and I'm gonna get some more fluids. Okay, we are back. So Ted, you asked about stitching in UE4 and whether or not I was going to be doing it on the doctor's bag. And I just wanted to show you the setup for doing fabric with stitching here. Because I've got my kid's model here, and all the stitching on him was actually done in Unreal. So all of this stitching here is in the engine. And there's actually something else I want to do to this. I'm really unhappy with this material. I mean, it works, but it's not as good as it could be. And part of the reason for that is that there's a very specific type of buckling that happens on denim when you stitch it, and I haven't got any of that buckling anywhere in here. And so I think what I may end up doing is adding a second layer of normal map to this that does the buckling all around where the stitches are. But yeah, I did that on there. His shirt doesn't have any stitching whatsoever either. And I actually didn't do any stitching on his pockets either. I was trying not to call too much attention to them because I really don't like them. But yeah, that's that is the layered stitching that you get when you do it here. So again, I'm gonna put another normal map on here that I think that has that effect of buckling, because I think it makes the denim look more real, more like actual denim. And so yeah, we're gonna do that at some point. Okay, so here we are in the map again, and this is the doctor's satchel. So I'd like to find a good place to put this. I'm going to put it over here, in this corner here. So let's go into my assets and drag this guy in. Let's go to my blueprints and figure out where the doctor goes. There's the doctor there. Good old number 6. So we'll set this to number 6. And there's the satchel, now the right size and in the world. I'm just going to actually toss it up here, because I think it's going to work better on the shelf than not. The next thing I'm going to do is go and generate my materials. So textures and materials. Let's go into the Werewolf and import textures, and this is doctor. There you are. And I'm gonna rename these guys. I don't like that Lambert 1 in there. Come on now, bulk rename. So I want to remove Lambert 1 underscore without a cause. So once those have been imported, we'll take the arm, turn off the sRGB, and the propane flows. I'm the live-in proof. This guy, mi underscore doctor. I'm going platinum. I'm going platinum. God knows why. They call me cowboy. Finger in the air, let me see where you're at. Say hey, hey. Okay, so we can get out of there. Go to my totems. Go into the doctor. And mi doctor. I like AC/DC and top. And the kids are rock. Skinner, Sear, the Corn, the Stones. And No Show Jones. Pass that bottle around. Doink. Oops. Doctor's bag. You've only ever seen one of these satchels on TV. This one doesn't appear to have been used in years. For whatever reason, you decide to blindly stick your hand inside and feel around to explore the contents of this antique. I wouldn't have done it, but you go ahead and do it. There we have it. Von Satchel. The pivot point looks good. It actually looks a little off-center left and right. But I think it's okay. That looks better that way. Jumping around on stage like a bunch of wounded ducks. When are you gonna learn, sucker? You can't. So I get a lot of... I'm at the point where I'm starting to get performance lag. So you can see over here. I'm actually getting about 16 frames a second here. It's really, really laggy. However, I'm playing it at 4K. And when I bump it down to 1080p, it runs at 90 frames a second. And so I'm a little less concerned. You can roll with rock, or you can... I'm a porno flick. I'm like Amazing Grace. I'm gonna some holes up to rock this place. Oh, that's odd. My PlayStation app just gave me a notification. I give a fuck. But if you do, I'll go out to. Okay, that leaves me. That leaves me with one totem. 10:30. Not gonna get a lot of this totem done. Oh. But I might as well start. So I'm going to start by looking at my reference here. Where I'm at. So I said earlier this is going to be a pretty non-standard way of using Marvelous Designer. And the reason for that is that what I'm making is a stuffed toy, a plushie, but it's an old school plushie, and the actual plushie itself is stitched, is made out of fabric, and so I have to make the fabric doll, and then make the clothing for the fabric doll in order for it to look correct. This is a toy that I assume ain't none of y'all ever seen before, because it even predates myself. But it was one of the best ideas I had for the Scarecrow Totem, and was definitely the direction I wanted to go. And while I've toyed around with other ideas, and I've had input from other people on what they thought might work, I keep going back to this totem being the best. This mesh being the best totem. And so I'm going to suck it up, and I'm going to make this guy. Yeah, we'll keep using this version. That's fine. And we're going to see what I can do here. Yeah. I'm a freak of nature. Now, because this is an old school toy here, that it's an old school toy. I'm guessing that I'm going to be able to find an actual sewing pattern for it online. which seems to be the case. They seem to be actually kind of everywhere. As cool as yo. And this is gonna be rough. I'm a freak. I'm a freak. Body and soul. I'm a freak. So I'm just perusing through some sewing patterns here online. Just trying to take a look at what we've got. I'm a freak. In body and soul, I'm a freak. I'm a freak. Freak. A freak. Freak. Yeah, that's totally what it is. Okay. So I've got my pattern open here on the other window. I'm not going to bother bringing this into Marvelous Designer. And the reason for that is that I don't really care about how accurate this thing is. I just kind of need to get it close enough. And that should give me what I need. So this starts life out as a couple of shapes married together. The first of which is a square, which I'm going to make this big. I'm going to make this thing just whatever size in Marvelous Designer, and when the figure is actually completed, I will then scale it to the right size. But I'm going to start with something like this, and then I'm going to make an ellipse, and I'm going to make the ellipse. This is a diameter of 50 as well. Okay. The next thing I need to do is marry these two where they meet. Now, they actually should meet like that. This is going to be the best way to do this. Let's undo that. Let's go to my tool here. It's the add points. Okay, so those 2 points. And then I'm just going to add 2 more. And 1 more here. On and on and on. And I'm going to snap these points to the points of the square. Like so. Then we can select the square and delete it. Now let's go into the edit curvature points here. And I can delete them. Real as ever. Something like this. So that I get this lovely little circle on a box. Nope, not a Cabbage Patch doll. The doll itself is actually made out of fabric. And you're very lovely for thinking that Cabbage Patch dolls predate me, but no, I remember when Cabbage Patch dolls came out. So, I'm going to copy this and paste a inverted copy beside it. And that'll be the front and the back. And we're going to take the back and rotate it 180 and move it into its place. I'm going to use the free stitch here And go all the way around. And go all the way around. Invert that. Real as ever. Now, I realize he's going to fall to the ground, but I'm okay with that. The other thing that I want to do is take my patterns here, and I'm going to add a little bit of pressure. I'm going to start with 1, which is not going to be enough. Let's bring that up to 5. Okay, that's getting there. Come on. So I might have to bring that 5 to 10. I want to be careful how much pressure I put, because if you add too much, this will shoot into space, which I don't want. I don't want it shooting into space. Okay, I did see. That. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, let's turn this simulation off and create the next element. This is going to go to rectangle here again. And we are going to draw a rectangle here, about yay big. And I'm going to control paste a copy. Pick the 2 of those and paste reversed copies over here. Yes, Somar, you got it. Only I'm going to do Andy and not Anne. Although I don't know why. I hadn't really actually thought about why. Yeah. This is Raggedy Ann or Raggedy Andy. One of the 2. My sister had Anne. And I don't know why I thought I was doing Andy. There's no real rhyme or reason to it. I can do either one. Okay, so this is this foot. This is going to go to this one. And this goes here. And goes here. You got it, man. You got it, man. This is the Raggedies. The Raggedies are pretty old school. Oh, that's not gonna work at all. Okay, I gotta. How I sewed this doesn't make sense. Okay. Upper right corner of this one. That one. Right, they're mirrors. That's why. This one goes this way. This one goes this way. No, go. Why you do that? Okay, you go around that way. There, and you go that way. Yeah. And then same thing with you. Okay, so I'm going to make these things all inflate 10 as well. This is kind of just to make them look like they're stuffing. Boop. We'll let them crumble to the ground here. Oh my god, his legs have been ripped off. Actually, I guess a more appropriate description would be that I just haven't sewn his legs on yet. Okay. Stitch. This here. This here. He's got knees. Wait. Did I stitch them to each other? I stitched them to each other. Well, let's fix that. Oh, yeah. No, I totally did. This one here. This one here. There we go. Okay, I want to make sure that the top is what I'm stitching in here. That's also the foot. The only reason I want to make sure that I stitch them the right way here is to ensure that they, those little corners are not popping out. To ensure that when I texture them, I can make black fabric at the bottom for the feet, without really having to worry too much about it. Okay, so free stitch across the top to here, to there. This one to here. Doink. And yeah, you gotta flip over. Don't eat it. Don't eat it. Spit that out. There we go. It's got legs. I think this is actually easier than making a doll in real life. Okay, arms are going to be a wee bit different. Turn this simulation off. We're going to go to polygon mode. And I'm going to do this here. So I obviously need a flat spot. Does that really connect right up at the head? Really does connect right up at the head. So we're going to start here. And I'm going to do... let's say that. And then we're going to go and adjust the curve points. And this. Keep me while I wait. Yeah, good night. Make a little hand out of this. It's not right. I can't escape the choice I made. I'll give the arm a curve. And then we'll just go stitch this sucker in. Actually, no, don't do that. Don't do it. Don't do it. We need to make room. Really. I need to make room for this. Bring it closer here. Okay, and then take these, and we'll do backwards copies over here. I will have to move them somewhere else. Winding second hand. Move these around, put them back here. My life fades to gray. Again with a razor blade. It's not right. This one. So that. This has to go here. And it has to go this way. This outside to in. Outside to in. Okay, simulate. Let it stop. Let's grab all the arms. Actually, the whole fucking thing. We'll set it to 10. Also, the younger me inside can't believe the things he saw tonight. Okay, whip. And we've got a doll. Okay. Come on, Andy. Okay. The next thing I need to do, I need to figure out where in the room it's going to go. Now, I have an idea, and that idea is going to be another armchair. I'm going to go to my meshes here. So the idea is I'm going to put another armchair here. And I'll just spin it this way. And Andy is going to be sitting in the armchair. Should be fairly easy to do. Now, the reason that I'm going to put him in this armchair is twofold. A, it'll look kind of creepy to have a doll just sitting in the chair. But the other thing is that I can use the chair as a avatar. So if I go File, Import, FBX, and we make sure we're in our FBX folder, and I just grab the armchair, and I say yes, centimeters, bring it in. Yeah, there's no arrangement points. There's the chair. Now, obviously, I made Andy fucking huge, which I knew was going to be the case here, but I'm just going to scale him down until he's about the size I want him to be. Now, he's going to explode over here, but I'll just simulate him again. We'll give him a good shake for good measure. Shake it, baby. And we'll bring this up and down. And I can actually go and just rest him in the chair somewhere. So he's still having a little bit of issues here. So I'm going to increase his inflation a little bit more. Let's go and spin him. I'm going to bring him up, rotate him the right way. And kind of drape him in the corner here a little bit. The other, whoops, don't put him in the cushion. The other thing I'm going to do, let's go and strengthen this. And that should give me a little bit of a better time. It'll treat this a little bit more like a doll. No, don't. I don't want him in the cushions. So there we go. Now we're getting somewhere. I think he needs elbows too. I don't like the way that his arms don't bend the way that his legs do. So I'm going to go and do that. Out of the air. Okay, then we're just going to go stitch these together. That'll give him elbows. Which should make him sit a little bit better. in the chair. That's creepy as fuck. So I'm going to go with the fabric here. Let's go change what this is made out of. I want this to be made out of burlap would be nice. So we're going to go cotton. Let's do Oxford. And let's increase the thickness to 2.5. It looks like he's not completely inflating. Let's go to, that is the right thing. Okay, I need this sleeve. Getting away with murder. There we go. The arms were in the wrong order, and since even though they were inflating, they were inflating against one another. Getting away with murder. So traditional. Getting away with murder. I don't think I'm going to dress him. I think I'm going to leave him all gimpy and naked, which is going to be extra creepy. Getting away. Getting away. Getting away. Getting away. So a couple of things I'm going to do. I'm changing his polygons type here to be quad instead of triangles. I'm looking at the face count. Now remember, this is face count, so it's quads, not triangles. So I need to double this number to get my actual triangle count for my mesh. And that's important because ideally, I'd like this thing to be somewhere like 2,000 in the polygon count. There's 13, so that's not bad. I'm going to simulate him again. And just let this catch up. Okay, the one other thing that I want to do is select the stitching. This one? Getting away with murder. This one. This one. This one. This one. This one. Nope. This one. This one. And what I'm going to do... Oh. It's not going to let me do that. Okay, let's try it with the pattern. Why couldn't I do that? Wait, now it's there. So I'm just selecting all of the joint, all of the joint edges, and the reason for that is I just want to add a little bit more detail to him, and I'm going to do that in the form of adding elastic to this. I'm going to turn on the elastic. I got to turn on the simulation here again, and what I'm going to do is in the elastic settings, I'm going to bring the strength up. And the idea is that I'd like to start getting a little bit of creasing and pinching in here. I'm going to bring the ratio down a little bit. Might be a little too low. Still not quite doing what I wanted to do. I will not. Okay, let's switch my simulation here to GPU. Speed this up a little bit. Actually, let's not get GPU. Let's go to complete. I'm going to see if I can't get his arm up on the armrest. I'm just going to create more friction on this thing. Just so the hand doesn't slide down. Or at least not as much. It's still going to slide on the other parts. Okay, let's see. Last thing. Okay, he's come to rest. Come to rest. Okay. So, here's what I need to do now. I do need to arrange this into something I can use as proper actual UVs. Regardless as to what they look like on this guy. I'm not going to retopo this guy. This is actually just going to be it. So I'm going to straighten the arms up. And try and get them in here. Like so. These guys can come over. Just kind of get this close enough. So I'm not quite as square as I'd like to be. Come on. I'm just going to make a square piece of fabric here to kind of mimic the shape of UVs. Like so. Let's go ahead and see how well I'm doing here. There. Just so I can see kind of what's going on here with the UVs. You know what? I think it's going to be good enough. Okay, so grab all this, file, export selection. And this is going to go into Cabin in the Woods, FBX, Totems. No, let's put it in the OBJ folder for now. OBJ. So this is Andy. Now, this is going to be a really interesting texture job on this. Let's go to Max. And just so that I can double check his polygon count here. OBJ. Andy. Wow, he's way higher than they said he was. He's 150,000. Oh, wait a minute. I should have checked my export settings. Yeah, let's check the export settings, because that's not what I wanted. Just this guy. It's telling me his face count is 29. They should only be about 7,000. Export selected. Overwrite Andy. Yes. Single object, thin, and weld. Yes. Let's try that again. Why is he 58? That number is higher than it actually should be. I mean, he looks great. Yeah, I'm really confused why this is as high as it is. But no big deal. No big deal. We can bring this back up. 10. Just going to leave him exactly where he is. And right over him. Thin, weld. No, I'm going to keep him unwelded. I think that might save me some heartache here. So we went from 53. To 14. Okay, that'll do. Okay, so I'm happy with that. I am going to have to place him at the origin, but now that I've got his pose, I don't care. Let's do that. Let's affect pivot only, center to object. And then go and put him down. That'll work lovely. File. Export selected. So I gotta fix his feet. I'm gonna have to fix a lot of this. So triangulation is becoming an enemy here, in which these corner polygons, some of them are triangulating the wrong way across here, which is creating a flat piece of fabric. And so I just need to make sure that it's triangulating the right way. So I'm just going to edit his feet. So you can see this one is doing that, right? It should be going across here like that. And so let's just go make sure all the corners. So these guys. And these guys. And again, I'll have to fix the smoothing groups here because it's breaking all of them. Those two and those two. Okay, other knee. This, and those two. Just see if it's causing a problem anywhere else. That looks like it's a problem. Indeed. I'll take this little edge, this vertex, and bring it up here. Okay. So this is Andy_low. Come on, freaking cat block. Andy_low. Export selected. And we can FBX this shit now. And this is Scarecrow. PQRS Scarecrow. Fix that shit. Export selected. Try it again. Scarecrow. Okay. Now, turbo smooth? That says turn to poly. Turbo smooth? Okay, and we've got a high poly. Export selected. No, don't do that. Yeah, do that. I don't care. Yeah, do that. I don't care. Fuck it. Right high. Come on. Okay, the end is in sight. This is the last totem. The last bake. Hi. Okay. So, 2K. 2K Sports. That's fine. Ambient occlusion all the way up, and thickness all the way up, and bake. Last baking. Now, the actual Raggedy Ann and Raggedy Andy. What? Oh, you dipshit. Okay, delete that. That's what I get for saying last bake. UVs aren't in the right place. I thought they looked bizarre. That was very stupid. Cabin in the Woods, Fibex. Totems. The Scarecrow. If I only had a brain. Edit. Project configuration. Re-choose the Scarecrow. And bake everything over again. Weak. Okay. Oh yeah, it is gonna look good. Yeah, this is gonna look cool. Okay, so now that he's been baked, I'm gonna go to the smart materials. See what we have in terms of fabric here. And I'm hoping I'll be able to manipulate the one of the fabrics that ships with this, so I don't have to make my own. Okay, so like start up here. Fabric. What is this? Composite reinforced. Denim. This denim, I don't know if anybody's ever played with this denim, but it's really cool. It actually uses your UV islands to put stitching on. See this? It's going all around the UV islands, stitching. That is such a freaking cool material that it's capable of doing that. I mean, you want to get rid of the M stuff in here, but that's a really neat smart material. Really cool setup that, you know, works in that way. It's not what I'm going to use, but it's really, really cool. So the only thing I'm really looking at here is the weave of the fabric. And this isn't bad. I need to go find, in terms of the color where it's coming from, how they're doing the warp. Oh, Melissa, everything doesn't have to be flesh. You got a problem, lady. That one and that one. Okay. So I'm going to take these two things and delete them because I don't need them. And I'm going to get rid of the wrinkling here too, because I don't technically want them to be wrinkly. So we can delete the folds. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the main color, and just to make Melissa happy, I want Andy to be kind of Caucasian in color here. Might be a little dark. Okay, so something like that. Surface detail. That's the fabric weave. Clumps are the bumps. Are they red? They're red. That guy's fine. That guy's fine. Okay, what's going on here? Edge darkening. I don't want this to be a subtract. I want it to be normal. And I'm going to go pick the color. Actually, just set it to be a multiply. And let's bring the opacity down even further. Okay, good. So I've got the main skin tone that I want here. I'm going to try and soften up. Let's take the height. I just want a little less powerful. There's a speckling somewhere. It's in this layer. What are you? Cells. I'm going to turn this down. I don't want them to be so speckled. Okay, and these little bumps. That's fine. It's the height. Bring the height down. So the doll looks a little bit smoother. Okay. So I'm going to go into the base color here. I'm going to add a new fill layer. And the fill layer is going to be let's see if I can do this. Stripes. I thought I had the ability of choosing the color. I guess not. Okay, so we're going to fill this with white then. Actually, I want the doll to look yellowed. Too green. So that's going to be my white. And this is just going to be color. And I'm going to add a new fill layer. Also going to be kind of a dark red. This one will get the black mask. Black mask is going to get a fill. Fill is going to be the stripes. Alright, so now we can play around with the stripes. I'm going to rotate them 45. Scale. Be somewhere about there. And I'll create a folder. Put me stripies in a folder. Folder called pants. Add a black mask to the pants. And then we are going to select by groups. No! My islands. Okay. I need to put some feet or some shoes on this thing. Big old pile of them bones. So this should be pretty easy. I'm going to add a new fill layer, which is also just going to be color. And we'll make this noisy dark. And then I'm going to add a black mask to this. We're going to go to our 2D. I feel so alone, gonna end up a big old pile of them bones. Oh, you're not gonna give me perfect, are you? Okay. Undo that. Go here. Brushes. This brush. We're gonna go into the stencil. Alphas. We'll put the square in the stencil. Bad dream come true. Can I take the scale down? I can. Let's take the scale down. Bring that scale back up. I feel so alone, gonna end up a big O. I feel so alone. Okay, kill the stencil, go back to 3D. And he got feats. Creepy AF feats. Okay. I think what I'm gonna do... Yeah. Fiber general wear and the clumps. So I'm gonna do something really clever with those in a moment. Oh, I'm not gonna be able to do this, am I? I might be able to do this. Let me add another folder. And all of this goes in the folder. Now, can I add an... you cannot. That's unfortunate. Let me undo. Can I do it here? Oh. If I put that in there, down there. Put it up here. Can I do this now? I totally can. So what if I remove the mask now? Not clear mask, remove mask. Remove mask. Okay, this guy. Add a black mask. And then we're going to go to pick UV islands and just U3. Do I now have a folder? Ah, damn it, I can't do it. Is it the mask? Let's remove the mask. I cannot do it. That's really bizarre. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to add an anchor point. And what I would do is I would anchor the color that the model is so that these other things would reference that color when they add their details. But it doesn't look like I can do that. I can add an anchor point to the base color. But I can't add one to a folder. That's too bad. An anchor point in a folder would be really useful. Hey, Substance Painter. Look into that. Give me that. Give me that. I want that. Okay. I gotta go and paint me some face. I'm gonna make this a creepy version of Andy because I think that's funny. So I'm gonna add a new paint layer. This is just gonna be color. I'm gonna start with white. I'm gonna make my brush nice and big here. Come on. This is about the halfway point of the face where these go. That's good. I'm gonna now paint roughness, which is gonna be very little, and black. And I'm gonna bring my draw size down. I'll try and put that right in the middle. Yeah, no, that'll be fine. I think the actual doll has hard pebble eyes. but I want that. Okay. Now, I'm going to bring my draw size down. This is going to require some precision painting here. So we're going to switch over. What has it got? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, you might be wondering, why the hell would he have eyelashes underneath his eyes? And the answer to that is who the hell knows? But it makes him creepy. Okay. Make sure this stuff is not going in as shiny. Okay. I'm going to paint in a nice kind of deep red here. And he's got this oval-shaped mouth. And he's got a triangle for a nose, which I might as well just grab a proper... No, I need my brush. I need my alpha. Okay, so that's what Andy's face looks like. God, that's creepy as fuck. Okay. This is about to go really wrong. If you find yourself a little squeamish, you may want to start looking away. And that's because Andy's about to get a little bit more anatomically correct. Because that's funny. Now, obviously, he's wearing pants, so he's not going to get that anatomically correct. I'm doing my stylus here again. No, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this like I did his paint job. Why can't I? This alpha go all the way up? Oh. There we go. Now the actual Raggedy Andy has a heart over his heart, but I ain't gonna do that. I feel like he needs the hair. I feel like he doesn't look like Andy without the hair. And man, I don't know how I would do that hair cheaply. Yeah, that's creepy. Okay, so let's see what I can do about fixing the clumps. I'm going to add a paint. I'm just going to paint on his feet here a little bit. Because I don't like those clumps there. They don't look right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think that'll be fine. Okay. Let's give Andy some dirt. Come join the murder. Come fly with black. Kill the you. Come the hero's track. Come join the murder. Ho ho. Dirty, dirty, dirty. I would love to be able to pull down that AO. Okay. And that's a first step. You know what's going to make this doll look really creepy? I'm going to put some wet spots on it. So I'm going to add a new layer. This layer, I made it a paint layer, but I think I'm going to make it a fill layer. And the fill layer is going to contain a fairly dark gray, no height, no metal, no normal. So it's just a shiny gray material. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the base color as a multiply. And actually now I can play around with this gray a little bit more. Something like that. I don't know how shiny I want the moist spots to be. Maybe not fresh. Maybe just slightly shinier. I'm going to name this layer Moist. With a Q in it for whatever reason. Or J. I can't read what that says. This is the joy of a 4K monitor, man. I can't read anything. So I'm going to add a black mask. To the black mask, we'll add a generator. To the generator, let's add not quite doing what I wanted to. Let's go into the smart masks. And I want some splotches. Like Martin Luther, like Pericles. Come join the murder. Come fly with black. From the hero's track. Oh, I'm so tempted to paint a butt crack on him. From the hero's track. Come join the murder. So on my way. I'm going to add another smart material. This is one that I made that I used on the tombstones, and I've got a good idea. I think I called it moldy something. Mossy stone is what I called it. So I don't actually want the doll to be made out of mossy stone. But there's a few little splotches in here that I like that I think I'm going to use. That's fine. This one, I'll get rid of that. Get rid of that. I think that one's fine. That one's fine. It's the dirt. Let's get rid of these guys. Get rid of the dirt. It's just these splotches here that's being added. I don't like it. No, sir. I don't like it. Okay. I'm gonna go this alone. Let's go to smart materials. Materials. I'll throw this up here. And we're gonna do kind of an off-white. A little warmer. But there. Quite rough. Add a black mask. Smart masks. There we go. Let's go into the strength of this and pull it down. Oh God, you know what he needs is a back tattoo. I love the little mom on his arm, but he needs a proper stamp on his back. Let me see what I got in terms of tattoos here. Because I did a bunch for my roller derby games. Nothing in there. Cyan, do you have a reference folder? You do. None of that is tattoos. Projects. Roller. Reference. There's gotta be some tattoos in here. Yeah, I got a bunch of tattoos back here. Misery. Let's go see what this is. I think this is a koi. Misery. I so rarely throw out bits of models that I worked on, because it often comes that I'm like, oh yeah, no, that would totally work. Let's see Andy again. No, this is not going to work. It's too big. It doesn't fit. Okay, I'm going to go find some reference for a tattoo. We'll see what we can find. Yeah, maybe not. Down. Down, dump. Maybe Andy is just good like this. Maybe the nipples and the mom tattoo are enough. Do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Must be on your shoulder, misery. My friend of misery. Okay, that should be it. I think we've hit a monumentous point here. And, and I'm done. I should have renamed these. Do-do. Do-do. Do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. Okay, material instance. Am I Andy? Okay, now totems. The last teapot is now a doll. Shit. Just occurred to me. I messed up his texture. I'm turning this off. He didn't look right to me. Okay, am I Andy is wrong now? He still looks fine. Blueprints. This guy. Scarecrow. There we go. 16. The last one. And all the mistakes. Alright, so we just turn them. I might have to do this unlit. Get them in the right spot. You should actually just fit here nicely. That's it. There are 100 totems in here now. I'm going to put some lights in here because I already know that Andy's too dark. Better. Better. Where are you? Shelf A. And put shelf A up here. So I made this, obviously made this hutch to be modular. So I can play around with some of its components in order to be able to move things around, which includes the ability to do that, which is going to allow me to put more candles in here. What is this? Shelf A? Shelf B. Ah, so I have 2 shelves. This guy up here. Okay. The only downside with this is that because of the collision on this thing, I am unable to put any totems on it, which really sucks because it's a really good mesh for being able to hide things on. But alas, not able to do that. So I'm going to hit play here and go full screen, and we'll go check out how Andy works. Raggedy Andy, a classic toy from the days before the internet. Raggedy Andy was the brother of Raggedy Ann. Of course, if you knew who Raggedy Ann was, this would be far more insightful. Put simply, a doll made of rags. Never true. They point the pink at me again. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That one's hard to find. I'm gonna have to bring it down, I think. 9. 10, 11, 12, 13. They point the finger at me again. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. There we go. 26. That one needs to be easier to hit. 27, 28, 29, 30. I already got that one. That's another brain, so I'm not going to count it. 31. It's another brain, I'm not going to count it. 32. 33. 34. 35. 36. 37. It's another brain, not going to count it. 38. 39. 40. 41. 42. 43. 44. 44. 44. What is that? Oh, I can get the camera in the shelf. 44. 45. 46. 47. 48. 49. What am I missing? I'm missing something somewhere. Oh, the other tombstone. There, 50. That is it. That is all 50 totems, and they're all in the map. I'm going to make some changes here to a couple of these meshes. The most recent ones I brought in. So the Doctor's Satchel. We're going to go tell this in the LOD settings that this is a small prop so that it generates LODs for me. Andy is also going to be a small prop. Just to show you how these LODs work, they're absolutely brilliant. So if you look at here, we can see the size and triangles of Andy. He's 14,022, and as I back away to here, he's now 7,000. So it's culled half his geometry. There's 3,500, 1,750. And so he gets really, really small, which is really, really nice. So I just want to make sure that that's done to each and every one of these things, that they are being reduced in size. The only other thing that I might do is alter this totem. So this is for the ancient ones, and it's supposed to be a prayer stone. And the symbol that I got was actually for the ancient ones, for prayer stones. But this, to me, reads too much as a tombstone and not a prayer stone. It looks like a grave marker, especially since the tombstone I have has the exact same material and is similar in shape, which is kind of an issue. And so my thinking here is that I'm going to change the ancient one stone to be less. Let's do this right now. I'm going to make this less this shape. Let's open ZBrush and more of an actual prayer stone. I'm thinking like Buddhist prayer stone type things. And then it'll be it. I'll be done all my totems, and the only thing I've got left to do is some character animation stuff, and I'm done. So I'm going to start by making a sphere. I'm going to make it a polymesh. Use my stylus in ZBrush. I'm going to go to my move brush, and I'm just going to make this a little oblong so that it's not quite as perfect in shape. Yeah, I want it to be kind of, I want it to be still smooth, but I don't want it to be ridiculous. We'll go to the Z-remesher, and I'll set this to be 1.25 thousand polys, and I'll Z-remesh it. And it got really, really, really small on me, but that's perfect. I'm going to go to Z plugins, Z UV master, unwrap this thing. We're going to export it. And Cabin in the Woods, I'm going to go to OBJ and let's just call it stone. Okay. I'll fix this thing. And then that'll be it. That'll be the end of my evening here, is just texturing this sucker to make it look a little bit better. I'm just never happy with this thing looking exactly the same as a previous one. I'm going to leave this at 1024 because this is a smallish totem. So OBJ, stone. I'm going to do a bake here, but I don't have a high poly, so what I'm going to do is just tell the bake to use the low poly as the high poly. And we'll turn on the anti-aliasing. Not that that matters. I've got nothing of note on this anywhere. So the bake should take about a second here to do. And then the idea is to put a marble texture on here. I'm going to go into the smart materials. I'm going to try and manipulate the marble here if I can, so that it doesn't just look like a, let's go into the right one here. Let's see what these look like. So that's a lot closer to what I really wanted this thing to be. I'm just looking for UV seams. Is this actually using triplanar? Oh, it's using UV projection. That's mental. I don't see any seams on that. It's lovely, actually. Okay, I'm going to manipulate the color, however. So I'm going to start with this color. Let me go look at an image of a prayer stone so that I have some reference here. Tool size large. Kind of like the burgundy. Okay, let's kind of go burgundy with this. It's going to be down here. Oh, that's interesting. Undo that. I see what you're doing there. Cannot add levels to this. Boom, boom, boom. Let's try the other marble and see if I can. Again, same deal. I can't see anything that looks like a UV seam. That is so weird. Let's kill this. Let's make sure I still have my prayer stone image, cabin in the woods reference. There's the ancient one's emblem. Bring this in as a texture. The current session. Just lovely. Let's go in here. And change this color to burgundy. Kind of that. Alright, I got my Trans Am in primer paint. Nobody tell me I was born this way. 401k, I'm burning a dream. They're calling out my name. Millionaire, ain't got much, and I don't care. Count your cash. Whole damn world's gonna know I've been here. And you know I'll share. I'm everyone from nowhere. White trash, millionaire. This is not going to do what I want it to do. Not going to do what I want it to do. Big time appointment and all their fake friends. Left-handed cigarettes. Ain't got much, and I don't care. Whole damn world's gonna know I've been here. White trash. Ba-boo, ba-boo, boo-boo, ba-doo-doo-doo. No, that does the opposite I want. I want to bring the height up. Doo-doot. Doo-doo. Doo-doot. Do get 'em up, then go high. From side to side, front to back to front to back. Here we go, wanna be a white trash millionaire. And I don't care, count your cash, kiss my ass. I got 2 zigzags and you know I'll share. I'm everyone from nowhere. White trash. Gonna be a white trash millionaire. Ain't got much, but I don't care. Kiss my ass. Whole damn world's gonna know I've been here. From nowhere, white trash. Millionaire. Yeah, I'm gonna add an anchor to this. And the only reason I'm gonna anchor is I want to make that emblem, that prayer logo, even more visible. So I'm just gonna create a material here. This is gonna be a blue shiny material that I'm gonna make black and shiny. That should work fine. I'm going to add a black mask to this, and the black mask we are going to add the ambient occlusion. And in the ambient occlusion, we're just going to make sure that we are using in the micro height, the anchor point, as a height, and that in the micro, where are you? Micro details, that the height is turned on. And that should paint the emblem for me. Okay, and then I can go up here and play with the balance for just how strong that paint job is. And there, I think that's a much better, I think it's a much better totem. I'm just going to go into the veins here. And I'm just going to play around with the seed a little bit. And I'm going to bring the balance down a little bit. And I'm just doing this so that it doesn't read as the same marble that everybody else uses when they put it on. Just to make it look a little bit different. So there. We'll export textures. Projects. Cabin in the Woods. Textures. Ancient Ones. And Unreal and export. So now I'm going to go into 3ds Max and delete this kid. And I'm going to import the OBJ out of the OBJ folder, which is currently called Stone, so that I can get it to be the right size, because right now it is the size of a pebble. And so I just want it to be a little oversized. Reset its X form, export selection, And this is going to overwrite Ancient One. Now I'm going to have to replace this in the world, but I'm going to be happier with it. So we'll re-import this, and we should see the stone now. Ta-da! And again, it's not, its UVs are, it's still using their previous material. So watch, all I have to do, textures and materials, Ancient One. What I'm going to do here is Ancient One, re-import from a new file. And this is going to be, this was the color I was importing. So I'm going to use the color. The normal, re-import from a new file. And we'll swap it with the new normal. And this one will come from here. And now this actually has the right material. I don't even have to do anything. It's just the prayer stone. So cool. We'll close that. I'm going to hit save all, since there were a lot of changes made. And I got to go mess around with my prayer stone now, because it's not going to make sense where I've got it placed in the world, which is right now floating like a kidney bean over here. Because I just had the stone placed there. So, I wanted to put this somewhere that would make a little bit more sense. I think I might put it in the light over here. So that it gets seen a little bit more. We'll kind of put it up on the shelf here. And I'll rotate it so we can see the emblem. If we were looking. And there. Nice big shiny red thing. There were other things that I wanted to change. I was having trouble selecting this guy. So I'm going to move him out a little bit to the edge of the shelf. There was something else that was higher than it should have been. Over here, the bull. I didn't like how hard it was to select this guy. So I'm going to put him down here on this shelf. And see if that's any better. So we shall play again. And I'll go and check that those two things work. I just want to make sure that it's easier to hit the bull, and it is. I can see the bull quite nice now. Oh, Bob. Okay, let's get out of here. I'm thinking of doing a, I'm thinking of doing another jump scare with the guitar. What else did I change? Not, get out of there. Oh yeah, I can hit that no problem. Prayer stone. Prayer stone's over here. Lovely. Ancient prayer stone. This kind of looks like a small tombstone. Okay, so I'm going to have to change the description. Yeah, let's change the description of this. And we'll go change that right away. And then we're going to call that an evening. So the Ancient Ones is one of the first ones up here somewhere. I never asked of you. You gotta promise not to stop when I say you win. Why can't I see the Ancient Ones? Ba-da-da-da. Ancient prayer stone, ancient ones, ancient ones. Here it is here. Okay. Save this. I need to change the totem momentarily. So we're gonna go 22 and 23. Okay. Everything is saved, and that's it. Alright, guys. I'm gonna call her quits for tonight. Whoa, what happened? Here we go. As I am out of totems, out of work to do. I've only put some animation work and then put some credits and start packaging this thing up. I'm going to take a few more laps around the map as well, but my goal was to finish this by this week, and so we're damn near there. Only a couple more days, and I think I'll be happy with this. And so, yeah, I want to thank you guys for watching, and thank you guys for hanging out. Come back tomorrow at the same time, 8 o'clock, and we'll finish this sucker off. All right, until then, take care, and we'll talk to you guys tomorrow.